And we are live. What up, players? Welcome to episode 167 of Player Life. The social credit system has arrived. It is Monday, September 13th, here in Tokyo, Japan. What is up? What is good? Hope you are well. Let me just play special little trailer here.
I don't want to overstate it, but a World Health official said the Delta strain is faster, fitter, and will move through communities more efficiently and pick off the unvaccinated.
The president telling Americans to expect more restrictions after internal CDC documents warn the war has changed.
Has increased from 12,431 to 42,323 in just a week. That's an increase of 243%.
Hey, you see this?
Here we go again.
The men are gonna need us.
They definitely will. This is getting crazy.
It's time to unite.
Let's do this.
All right. Okay. So that's the trailer for Pandemic Pickup Delta variant. Going to be launched on September 30th. Access to Pandemic Pickup 1.0. 10 online modules on online game mastery featuring modern life dating. 10 modules on day game featuring Mac the Day Gamer. Exclusive modules on consensual sexual escalation with a female model or models. 5 webinars on pure games starting October. I think it's October 6th, actually. I need to update that. Telegram chat for pure pickup game until the end of year. So if that sounds good to you, definitely get on my email list. Check out, go to my website homepage, scroll down to the bottom, put in your email, and then you'll be kept up to date about that. So it should be good. First time to, collaborate properly with MLD. Although I've helped them out a lot with his other courses. Done some some webinars, helped them film promos, all that good stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. A good combination of online game and day game. So everything you need pretty much. But yeah, so what else is going on? Yes, just want to talk about the today's episode is a little bit different. Just let me share something first. All right, so this is pretty cool. I mean, this is going on in Amsterdam, where they're like protesting, and it's also like a music event. So, I said it's amazing to see stuff like this happening. Frustrating that there are so many fucking fools all around the world still buying into the biggest scam in human history. So although there are protests, still there's just so many millions and millions of people living, just being NPC normies and following, you know, following, getting the vaccine and following all the rules the governments give them. And it's kind of because of these kinds of people that comply that the governments are allowed to get away with what they are doing, which is not very good. But yeah, there's a lot of people. Yeah, here's YouTube deleted my China tackles effeminate men. I believe they deleted it. Your video has been blocked. I don't know if it's been blocked or deleted. I think maybe it's still up, but yeah, more censorship, not good. And this is pretty based.
Yeah. How the Chinese citizens live, where
Do
you think that the American people are looking at a future much like how the Chinese citizens live, where you're effectively doing slave labor for trash prices?
Tim Pool, you can't say what we want to say on here because you can be taken off by social media oligarchs. Let's be brutally frank. If you and I have the real conversation that you want to have here, and you're smart enough and your staff's smart enough, that's not the conversation. Totally. Okay? Why? Because the social media oligarchs, they have the ability to take off a sitting president and shut him up. That's why it's more powerful. Mark Rose said this. He told me years ago, he said, social media is more powerful than nuclear weapons. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, nuclear weapons. If Beijing launches one to you, you're going to launch two back and it'll stop. Social media, they can shut down anybody, including a commander in chief, and that's what they did. They're told they will shut you down. If you get out of line, the social credit scores, what do you think the vaccine passports are? The vaccine mandates is your first social credit score.
Right.
Now, if you get out of line, the social credit scores, what do you think the vaccine passports are? The vaccine mandates is your first social credit score.
Right.
You can't go in a restaurant and eat in Washington in New York City. You can't get on an airplane. You can't go where you want in this country. There's no social credit score. This is state capitalism and authoritarianism, and it's come here today in this country.
We were talking with Ben Stewart about the.
Yeah, pretty spot on. Yeah, so it's like that's the world we're living in. What else we got? Yeah, so we got these kinds of people. Let's check Reddit.
That's my gang sign. I still wear a mask, even though I am twice vaccinated. That's my gang sign.
Honestly, I don't care. When I see things like this,
I still wear a mask, even though I am twice vaccinated. That's my gang sign.
When I see videos like this, it's like I don't even think the West is worth saving. It's like good luck. Let it burn. But the only problem is, the unfortunate thing is, well, it's obviously sad for people living in Western countries, but yeah, who are based and who know what's up. And but the problem is, like, a lot of countries are still brown nosing America, like all across the world. So whatever America does, most countries will follow suit. And that's a problem. That's a problem for the world. So whatever, you can say, let America burn or whatever, but yeah, it just spreads throughout the world then, because most countries are fucking brown nosing America and just following whatever they do, and it's not good. But yeah, the West is just like, I don't know. The West is not a good place to be right now. Look at this shit. What the fuck? Just like a dump. The West is like a dump. Look at this.
Why do you keep doing this, bro? You're a
doing, bro? How beta is this guy? Imagine being this guy. Oh my god! Like, this is how cocked the. This is like. Oh my god! Getting his ass beat by a girl, by some fat bitch. Getting his ass fucking beat. Like, this is your average Western guy. This is the average Western guy. He'll take a beating off some bitch. What a fucking coward. What a coward of a man. I mean, you know, when you don't this is a good video to describe, you know, Western women as a collective. You know, it might be a bit extreme to say all Western women would do something like this. I don't think they would, but you know, when you let they're like children. Like, when you let a child get away with bad behavior, it teaches them that they can keep getting away with it, and they'll become worse and worse. You know, they become more obnoxious. Their behavior will get, you know, they'll throw tantrums in public. They'll do all kinds of things because they know they can get away with it. That's why children need discipline. Women need discipline. Western women have not been disciplined. They've just been getting away with bad behavior for decades. It's just like they're this is, you know, this is the result. This is what's going on. Like, they don't realize that there can be consequences for this kind of behavior. I'm done. Even though this guy's an absolute pussy, he could obviously knock her out with one punch. But even though he's an absolute bitch, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just the gynocentric society we live in, and yeah, it's fucked up. It's just not good. Why is he calling his bitch bro? Like, why is he going bruh? I don't touch girls, bruh. It's like, what? This is apparently your dumb bitch of a girlfriend, and you're calling her bruh. What a dysfunctional piece of shit. What a mess. There's so many relationships like this in Western society, where women are just so fucking disgustingly masculine and obnoxious and just cuntish and just disgusting. Stop, bruh. Like, what the fuck? Like, Jesus Christ. I don't know. Man, that is just like, what the fuck? You know, let's see the chat. Anthony Arabas in the house says, I'm an NJ and I've been planning an exit strategy for a while now, bro. Man, I would do it if you can. Get out as soon as you can. You know, I would say try and get out of Western society. You know, it's becoming more and more authoritarian. It's not good. Try and go to a place less authoritarian, where there's more freedom. Spark 55 in the house. What's up? What's good? Pepsa Stomna said, wonder if it's the Don't Hurt Girls directive in his head that causes this. It's just a weak mindset, you know. It's obviously, there'd obviously be telltale signs that a girl would it's not, I doubt that just girl just did that out of the blue. She was obviously a fucking obnoxious bitch way before that. it's obvious. You know what you're dealing with when you meet girls, like, immediately. I would never ever get into a situation with a woman like that, because I would know through their personality within the first 5 minutes of meeting them whether they're a bitch like that or not. And if anyone hits me, I don't give a fuck. I'm defending myself. Like, whatever needs to be done. Like, I'm gonna defend myself, and do what needs to be done. I'm not gonna let someone ever hit me. Like, I mean, even if it was a guy that was way bigger and stronger than me, like, you're gonna at least retreat. You're not just gonna stay there and take the beatings. If it's someone who I think I can take on, I'm gonna try and beat their ass back. You do what you need to do to defend yourself. You don't stand there and take a beating. How pathetic is that? Like I said, I mean, if someone's smaller than you attacks you, you beat their ass. If it's someone who you think you can take on, you try and defend yourself and try and beat their ass. If it's someone who's way bigger and stronger than you, and that can beat your ass, at least try and retreat. Try and get out of the situation. Basic shit. But Dorkhead says, yeah, but the moment he strikes her, she cries and he gets arrested. Well, I can't disagree with that. It's a gynocentric society. Men are bad. Yeah, especially white men. White men are the devil. But men will get the blame generally, even if it's the woman. And apparently, statistically, women are the ones who initiate domestic violence. It's just men are stronger, and when the police come around, they're just going to arrest the man no matter what happens. But yeah, you never take a beating. Like, you don't just stand there and take a beating. I don't give a fuck. Like, you can't just be a bitch like that. Never ever. I mean, if you at least leave the fucking situation, like, push her off and leave at the very least. But you should. If someone hits you, you hit them back. Like, there's no, like, we're all equal. We're all fucking equal. Men and women. There's no biological difference. It's just men and women have been repressed by men, and there's no difference. And women can enter MMA, and men can pretend to be women and break women's skulls in actual MMA bouts. Fucking clown world. What a fucking clown world. And this is all part of the psychological warfare that's going on. It is a psychological warfare, and there's a video I'm gonna talk about it, because it's pretty fucking based. And I've been saying it for years. No, I don't know years, but I've been saying it for quite a while, that, like, I've been saying, like, you can't really have traditional wars between, like, superpowers anymore. You can't do it. Like, you can't, because the superpowers have, even countries that aren't superpowers, you can't really have any country that has nuclear weapons. They can't fight each other, really. That's why they have, like, proxy wars and stuff like that. But they can't go into a conflict with each other, because they both have nuclear weapons. They can just fuck each other up, tit for tat. It'll end in fucking real fucking disaster. But it is what it is, but this is what's going on. It's like, it's psychological warfare, information warfare. This is the new, we're in an information war right now. And most people don't even realize it. Like, a full scale, like, information war, like PSYOP, it's taking place right now. And most people don't even fucking realize it. And there's like, oh, there's just this scary beer bug that came from bats. And, oh, that's the biggest problem. And white supremacists and scary viruses that came from bats. That's what's going on in the world, and it's terrible. And we all need to get the jab, and we all need passports, because there's all these white supremacists going around, and they're being racists. Yeah, but that's what's going on. I don't know. But there's this pretty base Tim Pool video I saw today, and they were talking a lot about that. I might just do some commentary on it. It's pretty damn based. Let me share it.
Afghanistan.
Yes.
Right? Let's talk about the collapse. So you said you just mentioned Soviet Union collapses just after Afghanistan.
Yes.
Right? We are an empire of sorts, right?
We've become an empire. Yes.
So is Afghanistan going to be our demise, do you think?
I think that unless working class people step up and look at what's happened in the Rio Grande Valley, if working class people step up and say no more, not my kids, not my money, we're going to take charge of this. We're going to get back to some basic fundamentals, and we're not going to retreat into Fortress America. I'm not a retreat to Fortress America. We've got to have we will be throughout the world, right? But not like we are today in everybody's business, spread out all over hell's half acre, sticking our nose in everywhere. We will be, and we have to confront the existential threat, which is the Chinese Communist Party. Okay, we have to do that. And by the way, I've said, and there's the philosophy is unconventional warfare, right? You have economic and cyber. You have information and cyber and economic, right? Then you have kinetic. We are hurtling towards kinetic war in the South China Sea and Taiwan, even as we speak.
So I want to bring.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Information, cyber warfare. That's what's going on. That's what's this whole bear bug thing has been made possible by cyber and information warfare. That's how it's made possible.
Up this tweet from Elon Musk that we saw earlier. Daily Mail says Elon Musk posts cryptic tweet about the, quote, son of the old world setting in a dying blaze of splendor. He tweeted The Guns of August. It's a book about the early stages of World War I. He followed it up with a tweet with a Lord of the Rings reference. He's not responded to comments about what he meant, but he said 9 rings for mortal men following after he said that.
Well, the Guns of August are very prophetic. I mean, the following quote was one of the guys trying to negotiate a peace to make sure we didn't go to war said the lights of Europe are going to go out never to be relit in my lifetime. Remember, 1914, what happened with the assassination in Serbia in late June. Basically 5 weeks later, they had these treaties and the mobilization. It kind of took on a life of its own. And actually, we were drawn to a war. From August of 1914, that war did not end until the fall of the Berlin Wall. That's why the 20th century is the most bloody century in mankind's history. When they look back at it, we lived it. You in this audience, some of you were born in what will be called a modern dark age. 250 million people died, were slaughtered in the 20th century through war, starvation, of what happened in August. That's why the Guns of August. Anybody who wants to read Barbara Tuchman's book will see when the experts know everything. Remember, Europe was 100 years of peace since Napoleon was finished. It was a great industrial, remember, the steam engine, we exploded on industrial production.
Matt W says, your relay is bad, brother. Echo City. Damn. I don't know how to fix this relay. What is it that causes this shit? Need to look into that. Does anyone know? I don't know. Let me maybe try and close it down and open it up again. Let me try.
Boom.
The ability. So I've long.
Anybody?
Let me check. Let me see. Try and share it again.
Who wants to read Barbara Tuchman's book will see when the experts
Let me know if that's better.
know everything. Remember, Europe was 100 years of peace since Napoleon was finished. It was a great industrial. Remember, the steam engine. We exploded on industrial production, everything. The wealthiest the world's ever been, the most trade the world's ever been, the most united the world's ever been, a globalized system, the world. It cratered. The Victorian values cratered before our eyes into a sea of barbarity. Okay. That ended with the Khmer Rouge and Mao Zedong and all that, and eventually Afghanistan, which brought down the Soviet Empire and eventually to the Berlin Wall. That from 1914 to 1989, the bloodiest, the short 20th century is the bloodiest century in mankind's history. And Elon Musk, who's a smart guy, I think is sitting there. Is this new globalization order? Is it going to be? Is Afghanistan? Is that the guns of August? In other words, is that the assassination in Serbia that leads?
So it fixed it, and then maybe that's it. I'll try and mute my mic. Let's see if that helps.
The dominoes. And quite frankly,
people ought to be very concerned. And right now, you should be cutting off the football and cutting off the baseball, and you should be watching the news, and you should be thinking, what is going on here? What is going to change in my life? What's going to change in my children's lives, right?
Have you been tracking the food shortages?
Pretty scary.
Yeah. How does it affect you? A lot of people might not notice it, depending on what I think a lot of people might be noticing. You go to Taco Bell, for instance, and they got a sign up saying, we don't have these food items. You go to Starbucks and say, we don't have these food items. I'm trying to order food for my pets. And they're like, this is out. This can't be bought. Went to the pet store and it was like $50 for cat food. Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to secure and supply these things. Combined with a labor shortage.
We've had the greatest increase in prices, I think, in 50 years. Right? It's not transitory.
Is that a thing in America? Like food shortages? Has anyone noticed food shortages? Because here in Japan, there's absolutely no. There's no food shortages at all. I don't know put a 1 in the chat if there's anyone has noticed food shortages. Is that a real thing? I don't know. I've never seen any food shortages in Japan. The only time there was food shortages, and there was no food shortages. There was toilet fucking roll shortages, and I think that was all over the place. That was all over the world. Food, toilet roll. That's how retarded. That is how dumb shit got. People were scared of running out of toilet roll. What the fuck? Gabrielle says prices are higher, but plenty of food in SoCal. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's different parts of America. Apparently there was food shortages in Australia because they're gone on like full retard lockdown. Beastly Nerd says depends on where you are. I'm only noticing ammo prices going up. Yeah, man. If shit ever kicks off in America, that is going to be one seriously bloody civil war. There's so much fucking hatred between the right and the left right now. And I'm right in there. I'm not saying I have just as much hatred running through my blood as well, because I just can't stand some people and their ideas. Anyone who interferes with, anyone who disagrees with freedom, I have a big problem with. And yeah, I don't know. Fredo7 says, how can anyone say there is food shortage in a country full of obese Slavs? Good point. Yeah. America does have a lot of obesity. Matt W says, well, leftists don't have guns. Yep. That's why they'll lose. That's why they're trying to take your guns, isn't it? That's why they're trying to, disarm everyone so they can throw people in gulags. You don't get the jab, you know. Oh, it'll never happen. That's a right-wing conspiracy theorist. That's a white supremacist conspiracy theorist. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're a white supremacist. That's never going to happen. Vaccine passports, they're never going to happen. You're a conspiracy theorist. And look what's happening now. Why do right-wing conspiracies always come true then? It's just yeah, but let's get back.
The Federal Reserve says, like, oh, it's all transitory. Don't worry about it. What ain't transitory, particularly if you're working class, you're getting eaten alive.
We knew it wasn't. Those of us who have been tracking this, I'm sure you knew that these prices would stay up. The idea that, oh, don't worry, it's just playing catch up.
Your betters, you say that, but your betters, the governors of the Federal Reserve, all the economists, they sat there a month ago and said, no, you're wrong, Timpo. This is transitory.
Right.
It's just a slight blip.
Lying.
Everything's fine. You're not an expert. Go back in your cave. Go back and shut up and sit down. Pay your taxes. Put your pension money in. That'll grease the system. We'll control all the assets, and you're going to pay us rents because you're going to pay the carrying cost.
This is one of the reasons I got out of the cities. I lived in New York, and then there was protests and things were getting bad, and then some cops got assassinated in front of my apartment over on Myrtle and Nostrand, right on there, Tompkins, I think it was. And so I said, maybe it was political. It was a black nationalist killing cops. He said, you take two of ours, we take two of yours. And so I said, maybe I shouldn't live in this city because, I've already seen the protests and I see the escalation happening before my eyes. I move over to the Jersey side. I'm like, I'll still work in the city, but I'll stay out of the dense thick of things. And then there were bombs planted in Manhattan and Jersey City. And I said, okay.
Isn't it funny though, how, I just thought of it there, how, when Trump was president, that, the government was a tyrannical, patriarchal entity that you could never trust. And, all the lefties were, against it. And, you could never trust the government. I don't like any, let me be clear. I don't like any government. I think governments, they're all fucking wankers all around the world. They're all wankers trying to control people through taxes and all these fucking bureaucratic laws. Just, they all suck. Like, let's be honest. It's just like, which is the worst of a bad bunch, or which is the best of a bad bunch. But, now that the Biden got into the presidency, and he's pushing all this globalist shit, globalist tyranny, all the feminists, all the lefties are all like, yeah, trust government, trust them, just get the jab, get all that shit, we need vaccine passports, all that stuff. It's just the hypocrisy is what really, like, one of my favorite Alex Jones quotes is who is he talking to? I can't remember who it was, but the interview got deleted. The interviewer asked him, do you ever get depressed, or have you ever been suicidal? And Alex Jones said, no, I've never been suicidal, but I've been homicidal. It's so fucking. He's so honest. He's so based. I'm the same. Thankfully I've never been suicidal, but I can understand how civil wars can turn out to be extremely brutal, because I can honestly say I fucking hate leftists, the stereotypical leftists. You gotta be, there's just a red line in the sand that's been drawn. Like, to be honest, there has, like, it's just that red line, when they're trying to control people and, throw them and trying to get them arrested, jailed, trying to restrict their freedoms. That's the real violence. They go on about, oh, your words are violence. Oh, words. Oh, I'm scared. I'm so hurt by your words, and I'm such a strong feminist, but your words, I'm injured by your words. Yet they're actually really trying to, like, inflict on your life. Like, they're trying to, like, control you. They're trying to take away your job. They're trying to take away your freedom. They're trying to, like, control everything. Like, there's people all around the world that have had loved ones die, like, die from old age, die from sicknesses, die from cancer, and they haven't been allowed to meet them. They haven't been able to go and see them because they haven't been able to travel, or even if they're in the same country, they haven't been able to go and see loved ones like that were dying, like not even from the beer, not from some bullshit beer bug crap, no, like from real fucking diseases, like stuff that actually kills people, like fucking cancer and all heart disease, all kinds of shit. People have missed funerals. People have, these motherfuckers, these fucking jackboot lefty fucks, like that are, the ones that are enforcing this shit. This is why I fucking hate these motherfuckers so much. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, that's why I can understand if shit ever hit the fan, like a conflict broke out. That's why I could see things being extremely fucking bloody and brutal in America. To be honest, because there's such a palpable sense. I don't even live there, but I know I'm not the only one. I know there's a lot of other people like me, that have just such anger, and there's anger on the other side too. They feel the same about people who think like me. Lefties have as much hatred for me, so there's not much compromise there, and that's why that's how things turn very ugly, very, very ugly indeed. But let's get back to this base video.
Maybe I should move a little bit further away. Then I end up going to South Jersey. I see the riots, the Black Lives Matter riots, the George Floyd riots, and I said, yeah, well, we're on the other side of the river from Philly, so we're fine. Then I heard the helicopters, and they started coming into the suburbs, the protests, the riots, and I was like, they crossed the bridge? You know what? I'm not going to sit around to wait and find out where the escalation leads to. And so we ultimately end up going out to the West Virginia, we're in the Harper's Ferry area, which is not the middle of nowhere, mind you. It's like an hour from the airport. But I'm still thinking, like, we need space. We need to have our own water source, because the world may not be ending. I don't know. But the point is, I want to just make sure that when whatever ends up happening, be it a disaster, a crisis, or something in the United States, I have taken responsibility for myself. Because the worst case scenario is we got a great place. We got trees. We got deer walking around. It's beautiful. It's fresh air. We have our own well. And you know what? Maybe it's good to prepare for some kind of chaos that may ensue. Maybe it will never happen. Well, the worst case scenario is fresh air and clean water. How about that? I don't know what you're thinking. Are you about cities?
Well, I think, look, people have to make individual decisions, individual choices. I think one of the things that people have to do is to get sources of information and check them out and verify them. But much of what you're being told is just not accurate. 30 days later, it changes. 60 days later, it changes. You were told this inflation is transitory. It's just not, because asset classes, and by the way, people are putting money into commodities. Food prices are going up. This is the most massive unfair tax for working class people. And you're going to see a revolt. That's why Biden's handling the economy is down now into the 40s and sometimes in the 30s, depending on who the demographic. By the way, for the other day, an economist poll, not the War Room and not Tim Pool, the Economist YouGov poll had the crosstabs, which, by the way, most of these polls today do not put out the crosstabs because they don't want to see how bad when you get into the details. The Economist did 250 pages. Steve Cortez and Raheem Kassam went through it, and they had in the Hispanic looking at Hispanics.
Well, I mean, just what you're saying there about you have to search for the truth, but it's very hard to do so. I mean, it's on all the mainstream platforms. It's hard. I mean, even here. I mean, I'm playing with fire. I mean, on here. I mean, I'm crossing, even by discussing stuff like this. I'm crossing. If my channel was much bigger, I mean, if I had a lot more subscribers or followers, my channel would probably get deleted. It's just. I mean, I'm already getting like censored, and it's only a tiny, I have like 800 subscribers. That's like very, that's not much. But how's this? Let me just let me share something pretty based. Yes. So this is, how can you tell the truth? How can you tell when truth is being told when Facebook blocks it, Twitter deletes it, Google hides it, YouTube bans it, your government forbids it, and media brands it as a conspiracy theory and or disinformation campaign? All the fact checkers are the ones that are telling the fucking lies. The fact checkers are the ones who are orchestrating the whole thing. It's just fucking clown world, man. It's clown world. But yeah, it's that's the world we live in. It is what it is. Dorkhead says, yeah, everyone who ever mentioned this on here were deplatformed. I mean, so many people that used to be great content, they're still content makers. They're just on other platforms, but YouTube used to have so many great truth tellers, content creators. And a lot of them are gone. A lot of them just a lot of them just got kicked off, and no one really realized. It's just people did realize, but it's just that's what happened. Let's get back to the video. Share screen.
Biden's handling the economy, excellent. 0.0. First time I've ever seen a double odd in a poll. Wow. Usually you get something. 0.0. Excellent. Okay. People are wising up to it because they see the reality of their lives. And all you have to do to think about these experts, think about what they told you about the economy. Think of what they've told you about what's happening on the southern border. Think of what they've told you about the vaccines.
I agree. What incentive do men today have to defend our Western countries in the event of a war? I fully agree. I mean, the Western society is shit. I mean, there's not that much incentive. That's why I think it's nuts that I don't know how any red pill man could join the military. For what? For why would you defend? Why would you go off? Why would you let some prick like Biden or Kamala Harris send you off to war? Fuck them bastards. No, don't don't join the military. Why would you do it? To save fucking some LGBT wankers. No thanks. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just why would you defend the society when it's against when it's just I don't know. It seems to be against everything that's good. All the Western values that we used to, that used to be, that used to signify Western culture have gone out the window. Freedom, freedom to do what you want. It's just becoming more authoritarian. If fascism ever comes to the West, it will come in the guise of liberalism. I can't remember who said that, but that's exactly what's happening. The Western societies are becoming more and more authoritarian in the guise of some fucking fickle lefty fucking liberal bullshit. Yeah, but let's get back.
Think of what they told you about the CCP virus and the origins of this virus in Wuhan. Think about that. Think about every day that it's all a nutcase conspiracy theory. And then you get more information and all of a sudden it's not. Okay. Think about this war. Think of what you were told about Afghanistan. Think about what you were told about the American citizen left there. Just think about what you're told, and then later what you find out to be right. It's not marginally off. People can make mistakes. It's the exact opposite of what you were told.
Don't you remember, or I don't know if you can actually remember, the feeling of being totally disassociated from politics and what was going on, and you just watched football, you went to the bar, you had pizza? Wasn't that warm, fuzzy feeling where you'd wake up and just do your routine? It's all gone, isn't it?
It's a fourth turning. That's a pre-fourth turning. This is what a fourth turning is. We're in the maelstrom right now. We're in the maelstrom.
And the whole
Let me share something. Let me check. Yeah, so this was since Steve Bannon brought up the Wuhan, August 2021. This was not the last August. Sorry, August 2020. August 21st, 2020. Look at this shit. Things have been like, I'm just lost for words. I mean, the fact, like, I'm just lost for, look at this shit. Look at this shit. Do you see any masks here? You don't see one fucking mask. Jesus. On the West, it's it's September 2021. September 2021. Say that again. September 2021. This is August 2020. I know people in China that use Instagram, even though Instagram is banned in China, but they use obviously VPNs or whatever. They still use Instagram. I've been following them. They've been going to clubs all throughout this whole fucking shit. There's a lot of fucking disinformation that comes from. There's a lot of disinformation that comes in from the Western media saying that, you start to realize that it's all fucking Hollywood shit, man. There's so much fake shit going on. There's so much fakery. I know chicks that are in China that were way back, like way in 2020, like by summer 2020, like they were going to clubs, they were going to bars. I saw their stories. I saw their Instagram stories. There's no one wearing masks. They were out in the street. Just full of fucking lies that goes on, and we're in 2021. We're being cucked. The whole world is being fucking cucked because it's an information war. It's a psyop. It's all fucking cyber warfare. It's all information. It's all misinformation. It's mad fucking crazy shit that's going on. Yeah, and it's all made possible by these fucking foot soldiers for these normie foot soldiers for the globalists, these fucking normies, these fucking normie scumbags. That the only reason the globalists and the elites are allowed to do this is because of the fucking normies, because they're the ones that are going along with it in vast numbers, and that's why they're able to fucking get their way. If we rose up, if people just didn't comply, this shit wouldn't, they wouldn't be able to do it. They wouldn't be able to enforce it. They wouldn't, you wouldn't notice it. There would be it's just all a fucking insane, it's just such a large scale scam. It's just so fucking large that people could never comprehend that it could be a scam. And it is, and it's just fucking frustrating. So
watching football and kind of living in a haze of glory.
We were on the back of slaves. We were living off the back of slaves the whole time. We just didn't know. But it's the ignorance. You were basking in the bliss of ignorance, and more
That's
people,
where they want you to be.
Right.
Remember, most of what's happened, this is what's so powerful. I want to go back to the apes and why they hate the apes so much. What are the apes doing that's so bad? They're buying American companies and holding the stocks. Okay, they're racist, they're nativists, they're market manipulators, they're everything. The press beats on these people all day. You know why? Because they're crowdsourcing knowledge. Yep. They want you to be an idiot. They want you to look at the pro wrestling and think about it a second. All the major events that have really happened, 9/11, the war in Iraq, the financial implosion in 2008, the market, these things. How at the time that you go back and look at what was covered on cable TV. It's all pro wrestling. In the foreground, they want you distracted, not just with entertainment, but even the stuff they say is serious politics is all pro wrestling. It doesn't matter. Where the power things, that's what this Bloomberg article, we got to get to read it. $838 million an hour. Okay. $4 trillion. And that hasn't even started. And it's not going to get reversed unless you throw down hard and reverse it. You ever hear about the debt ceiling? They don't want you to know about that. They don't want you to know that you have the power to say no. They want you to be an idiot.
Did you know the U.S. is liquidating its assets to try and cover costs because of the debt ceiling?
Okay. We talked about, the debt ceiling. We're the only show, I think, that picked up. Even the business press did when Yellen. Remember, she's the only person, I believe, to be chairman of the Federal Reserve and Secretary of the Treasury. Okay. So in those circles, she's very highly regarded. She gives testimony right before 4th of July and says, oh, by the way, on July 31st, we hit the debt ceiling and we will default on government securities on August 15th. I go, oh my God, this guy, we will default. Last time I looked, that means you're bankrupt. Okay. Yeah. And you see there that, and here's the games they play. And this is what the Uniparty plays. She's got to shuffle around. They go through the 31st and no increase of the debt ceiling. And what are they doing? They're playing 3-card money. Right. They're taking money from Social Security. They're not putting money into government pensions. They're going out and getting tomato cans in the back of the Federal Reserve. Where's the cash? No, they're doing everything they can do. Remember, these are your betters. These are the people that think you're an idiot and treat you like an idiot. These are supposed to be the geniuses. This is all the McKinsey consultant, Booz Allen. They went to the best law schools, the best business schools. They're your betters. Okay. Your betters got us Afghanistan. And the deplorables are over in Arlington National Cemetery. Okay. Your betters are sitting there on the think tanks and on MSNBC, and they're giving these proclamations. And the deplorables kids are on those planes going in there to 6,500 to try to save American citizens. And they're the ones on the receiving ends of the Afghani kids are being tossed to them over barbed wire. Okay. This is the same thing here. You're betters. Now they're running around getting cash out of the tomato cans in the back of the Federal Reserve to kick the can down the road till they get back from vacation. They can't handle it in August. August is recess. We're coming back after September 20th. Then they're going to have this false deadline on October 1st. And here's the beauty of it. It's going to be your fault. The deplorables. Oh my gosh, you're going to blow up the capital markets, the debt markets. We're going to default on our securities. You're the problem. You're the problem. They're not the problem. How do you get us in here? $28 trillion. And now they're talking about another $6 trillion. And there's going to be a $6 trillion on top of that. And top of that. Here's why. As long as they can keep printing, and the only way they can keep printing the full faith and credit of the United States government is you. It's not them, it's you. On your back, okay? Because you're going to owe it back. On your back, they're going to keep printing and printing and printing, and zero interest rates. The asset classes keep going. And who owns the assets? They do. They own the real estate. They own the stocks. You own nothing. 50% of the American people can't put $400 in cash together for an emergency.
That's insane. 50% of the American population cannot put $400 together for an emergency. That's living that's slavery. Like, that's living from check to check. Like, you've no freedom. And that's the way they want it. That's what they want. They want you just like living from like paycheck to paycheck so that you don't have an option to escape. That's what you want. That's what they want, They just want people just like scared and, not able to, afraid to rebel or afraid to, that's what this whole social credit system is about, so that they can keep people in fucking slavery. And that's what's going on. That is what's going on.
2 paychecks away from oblivion. You don't own anything and you're not going to own anything. This is the system I'm a capitalist. This system has to be dismantled, and it can be dismantled by the American people if we act today.
Do you think that the American people are looking at a future much like how the Chinese citizens live, where you're effectively doing slave labor for trash prices?
Tim Pool, you can't say what we want to say on here because you could be taken off by a social media.
This part right here, this part is based. Listen carefully.
The oligarch. Let's be brutally frank.
That's right.
If you and I had the real conversation that you want to have here, and you're smart enough and your staff's smart enough, that's not the conversation. Totally. Okay. Why? Because the social media oligarchs, they have the ability to take off a sitting president and shut him up. That's why it's more powerful. Miles Guo said this. He told me years ago, he said, social media is more powerful than nuclear weapons. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, nuclear weapons. If Beijing launches one to you, you're going to launch two back and it'll stop. Social media, they can shut down anybody, including a commander in chief. And that's what they did. They're told they will shut you down. If you get out of line, the social credit scores, what do you think the vaccine passports are? The vaccine mandates is your first social credit score.
Right.
You can't go in a restaurant and eat and watch in New York City. You can't get on an airplane. You can't go where you want in this country. There's no freedom. Social credit score. This is state capitalism and authoritarianism, and it's come here today in this country.
We were
honestly, that's one of the most base things I've heard. Like Steve Bannon, I mean, he's pretty fucking based, man. Like, it's so true. I mean, the social credit system, it's here. It's fucking here. It's not like, oh, this thing, it's coming down the line. No, we're going to be scared. It's fucking here. Like, it used to be like up until like 2 years ago, it was pretty much, I don't know, you could pretty much go anywhere in the world. Like, you could go anywhere. Here's like, you could get, if you had money, get a flight and you go there. I mean, maybe North Korea was difficult to get in. You could even go there. Like, you could actually, there was ways to go there. But now, like, we're living in a world where there's lots of places you can't go. There's some places that are kind of opening up that you can kind of go there, but there's still there's red tape, there's bureaucracy, there's all this shit you have to do to go there. You have to get PCR tests, and it's like, but there's a lot of places that you can't go regardless. Like, there's still, you cannot travel there. And I don't know, who knows, is that ever going to change? I don't know if that is going to change. I don't know. I don't think it will, to be honest. I don't want to sound like, I don't want to be dishing out black pills, but I just think it's too easy for them. They're getting away with it. Like, they're getting away with this shit. And they're going to continue to get away with it. They're not doing this for fun. Like, they mean business. And I pretty much knew this from the start. I knew this was like not something to be joking about, or something like that's just going to pass over, or it's just going to go away. They're not just going to give up. Like, it's been extremely successful. They're getting their way. Their plan is working out. Their plan is working out. It's working out perfectly. There's protests and shit, but those protests don't do shit, really. Like, protests never do shit. Like, they never do anything. Peaceful protests never do anything. Even if they're huge numbers, even if people protest in huge numbers, still doesn't matter. It's about compliance. Because you can protest all you want, but if you go away and comply, then that's, if you comply with it. The thing is, a lot of people disagree with it. There's a lot of people out there that disagree with all this shit, like the vaccine passport and all this bullshit. But they'll comply. That's the problem. They'll comply because they have a job and they have this, that, and the other, and it just makes life easier. And these people are fucked. I mean, most people are just cowards. Most people don't want to give up. Most people just want the easiest route. I unfortunately, I think this shit's here to stay. You're just gonna have to try, and we're just all gonna have to try and make our own lives as free as possible. But I don't think we're gonna change it's not gonna go back to the way things were. Unfortunately, I just don't think that's gonna happen. I think it's working out. Like, it's working out for the globalists. It's working out pretty well for them. Why would they give up? Why would they? Oh, we're just gonna stop. There's protests. Oh, there's people. There's people out on the streets. We're going to have to cancel this whole plan. We're just going to have to cancel it. There's there's multi-billion, who knows, maybe $1 trillion vaccine contracts all around the world. We're going to have to cancel those because, it's just, it seems there's some people out protesting. Nah, they're going ahead with it, and it's going to be here to stay. And this is, it's an unfortunate reality. That's my prediction anyway. But let's get
talking with Ben Stewart about the fourth turning. And one of the ideas of the fourth turning is that in every fourth turning, the most powerful weapons available at the time will be used in the conflict.
Yes.
And I said, that's not nuclear weapons. It's social media.
Boom.
The ability. So I've long talked about this.
She knows that. That's why Jack Ma is looking for a job right now.
Right.
He cut him right off at the.
Why do we go to war? Why was violence used? They were trying to gain control of something. They wanted something. They would take it or they hate it. You know, they're often ideological things. But a lot of war is resources. I mean, I think it's funny how many people died throughout human history to make food taste better. For instance, you know, all the spices and the trades and everything that led to conflict.
How many empires were built on that?
Yeah.
Right. But what happens when you no longer need to use physical or kinetic force to command someone to your will? Well, why expend the energy cost when you can instead perhaps pay people 50 cents to post propaganda in their free time?
Exactly. Because it's cyber and information warfare, just like economic warfare. Kinetic warfare is the most inefficient, right? You only do a kinetic warfare and when you have overwhelming odds. But I think we're sliding to kinetic war because I think we're weak. But you're right. The biggest
This is exactly what I'm saying. Like this we are in a fucking war now. This is the war. This is a 2021 war. As I've said it already, but I'll say it again. You cannot have a kinetic. You can have a kinetic war, but it's not very efficient. They don't really need to actually have a kinetic war, as in armed conflict, because it's not efficient. I mean, it's far more efficient to indoctrinate the fucking world through cyber fucking misinformation, global propaganda, than it is to attack with bombs and bullets. It's far more fucking effective to just brainwash fucking millions of, let's say billions of fucking normies. All these fucking jackboots on the ground, all these fucking Karens, all these feminists, all these BLM motherfuckers, enforcing all this shit. All the ones playing along, weasels, but that's what's going on. Like, and these weasels, they don't even know they're like, oh, it's not, like I said, they don't know it's a war. They think, oh, it's just. They're idiots. They think that they think it's the biggest threat is like white supremacy and fucking this beer bug and that's what they think. But no, they're just pawns, man. They're fucking pawns in the whole scheme. They're just being useful fucking idiots, making the whole thing worse because they're playing along. They're the reason the globalists are allowed to get their way. Because they're the ones screaming at you in the fucking shopping center. That's the it's the Karens that are telling you, where's your mask is slipping. It's the fucking weasel beta male high school teachers that start threatening to call the cops on students for not wearing their masks. It's just all that shit. Like, I mean, today was actually the first day. Today was the first day since this whole shit happened in Japan that I was refused entrance into a fucking restaurant because I wasn't wearing a mask. The first time. Like, there's been times when I've been required to wear a mask to go into a shopping mall. That's happened, but for a restaurant, this is the first time. It was dumb as fuck. And I've been to this restaurant before. And I was there last week, and it wasn't, it's a restaurant. It's literally you have to fucking eat. But this little weasel, I went to the door, they greet you at the door, and this little fucking weasel, he looked like a little dork, came to the door and was like, oh, where's your mask? And then, he was very passive aggressive, and I was like, well, I'm coming here to eat. Why do I need a mask? I'm about to eat. Like, that's why I'm here. It's a restaurant. Everyone's sitting down, no one has a mask on. People are eating, and he's like, oh, well, I can't take you to the seat. I can't show you to a seat if you don't wear a mask because the customer is going to be worried. And at the same time, I'm looking around the restaurant and everyone's like, there's no one wearing a mask because it's a fucking restaurant. Like, the people are there to fucking eat. And this is the type of social. This is like, I swear to God, that's the first time for it to be refused into a restaurant in Japan. This is fucking. We're coming up on 2 years since this shit has started, but this shit is here to stay. I don't see this shit going away. I'd say it'll become more normalized. It'll become more enforced. This shit. It won't become less enforced. It'll become more required to wear masks. It'll become more required to get to get the jab and all this shit. That's why it's, as a red pill man, you have to become as independent as possible. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to become independent. So I'm like uncancelable. So I can live independently, and I don't have to rely on anyone. I had this kind of side gig where I was like getting money, kind of teaching, up until like, I would do it. It was kind of just, I would do it whenever I wanted to do it, kind of thing. I would get an email. I would get emails about, various jobs, and if I was free that day, I might take it, I might not. But I got this email like a few weeks ago that required me to, show proof of my vaccination. So that was like, I just didn't respond, and I guess that job is that gig is kind of out the window. Just didn't respond. Go fuck themselves, fucking wankers. Show proof of your vaccination. Get the fuck out of here, wanking bastards. Not a hope, man. Not a hope. Not gonna happen.
Power is information, cyber.
If you can convince the enemy nation to lay down their arms and wave to you and cheer as you enter, then you don't need to waste money on kinetic weapons.
And if you can convince the populace to pay you a percentage of their income, then you don't have to make them slaves, because you're already making money.
You've fractionalized the slavery. Instead of having one free person who's running a business and one slave, make them all 40%.
By the way, this is what Wall Street does today. If you take this is the scam of money managers. I don't think there's any money managers over time that have outperformed the S&P 400. That's why all these instruments came up. You can just basically buy the market as a tracker stock, because they haven't overperformed just buying the market and how the American economy grows and how stocks relate to that. Yet your pension fund money, and that's every nurse, every cop, every union member, or people, your money is institutional money is managed. The Wall Street guys get they get a fee of 1 or 2% on assets under management. And when you're talking billions, that's real money. That's how they get the house in the Hamptons and the big parties, but they get 20% of the ups off your money. And here's what they did with that. They shipped the jobs to China. They shipped the jobs to China on your nickel. The great tragedy part of this is that working class people of both political persuasions, you paid for it all. Your taxes and your pension funds are what paid for this whole thing. The whole thing, you have the ultimate power, or it resides with working class people in this country. And that's the thing they don't want you to know, because you have the power. It's your money. It's your money. And you could throw these bums out. And that's why they put the pro wrestling to divide you in the foreground, because they don't want to talk about the Bloomberg article today. They don't really want to walk through what's in these $6 trillion of spending. It's a 2,700-page bill. Has anybody explained that bill to you?
Wow.
Has anybody sat there and said, let me take an hour and walk you through where $1.25 trillion that you and your kids are going to pay back? Let's at least have enough respect for you that we'll explain to you. No, you will not see that anywhere, because they're never going to do it. You know why? They understand an informed electorate is informed consent. Right? They don't want that. They want you to be distracted by the bread and circuses on one level of pop entertainment, but also when you get into politics or it's cable news, it's all pro wrestling. It's not the thing itself. If it's the thing itself, we wouldn't have these kind of issues that pop up out of nowhere.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full
So yeah, that's what's going on. I mean, that was pretty based, a lot of based points. It's all basically, the main point about it was how to, he said that this social media, it's it's more effective. It's deadlier than nuclear weapons. In the grand scheme of things, obviously a nuclear weapon is deadly, like in one particular location, but on the grand scheme of things, think of the devastation just this whole thing has caused. I mean, even if you tallied up all the global suicides from just the depression and just the whole people's losing their livelihoods and all that, it's probably it would probably dwarf on a global scale, would probably dwarf the impact of a single nuclear bomb. It depends on obviously where the nuclear bomb hit, but worst case scenario, nuclear bomb, I don't know, kills 1 million people. I don't know, who knows? But I mean, on a global scale, I'm sure the suicide rate is much higher. I mean, I heard something where I don't know. I think it was the governor. It was someone in Hawaii. I don't know if he was the governor. It was just something I flicked through, but he basically was this old dude, but he was some kind of politician in Hawaii, I believe, and he said that the vaccination for the influenza, when people died, I think up to 45 people died from taking it, and they pulled it because it was just they couldn't, there was too many deaths, and apparently from the bear bug vaccination, there's been up to 45,000 deaths, and I didn't listen for long enough to know if that's in America or worldwide. But if you, my main point is, if you tallied up all the result of this whole misinformation, this whole scam, the effects of this cyber warfare, I'd say the deaths are far higher, and I'm not talking about deaths from any kind of bear bug. Although people have always died from various kinds of viruses. I'm not denying that there are viruses out there. There are viruses out there, but that's normal. People, viruses are usually what takes people of old age out. Yeah, it's just crazy shit. Loft 3 Trader says, just listen to Biden's rhetoric. We must protect the vaccinated from the unvaccinated as an example. This is propaganda and the making of a group to blame. Yeah, it's just doesn't make a lot of sense. Reed Doku says, like North Korea, the slaves are also the guards. That's why it has lasted this long. That's it. That is it. On a similar note, since this pandemic shit isn't going away anytime soon, check this out.
I don't want to overstate it, but a World Health official said the Delta strain is faster, fitter, and will move through communities more efficiently and pick off the unvaccinated.
The president telling Americans to expect more restrictions after internal CDC documents warn the war has changed.
Has increased from 12,431 to 42,323 in just a week. That's an increase of 243%.
Hey, you see this?
Here we go again.
The men are gonna need us.
They definitely will. This is getting crazy.
It's time to unite.
Let's do this.
All right, Red Pill Thor in house says Mac is based and awake. I've been watching the globalists for years. I agree, people are sheep. No, I think maybe no vax camps are coming, and most people will support them. Unfortunately, that's true. That is true. Redoku says, if the Fauci juice worked, why would anyone need protecting from the non-believers? Yeah, a lot of just nothing they say really makes sense, and it doesn't really have to. It's like Event 201. They basically told the globalists told us what they were planning. They planned they blatantly planned it out. They didn't even hide the fact that they were planning it because they know that the propaganda campaign will be, it's like, what was it? I think that, the bigger the lie, the more people will believe it. I think the Nazis said that. The bigger the lie, the more people will believe it. And that's what they're going by, that logic. Red Pill Thor says, men like us will support each other in ways to secure our personal sovereignty and show other how to do the same. 100%. Absolutely. Based as fuck, as usual. Yeah, guys. So get on. Let me check. Let me see. Yeah, so get on my email list if you're not already on it. Stay up to date with, get on the email list, and you will stay up to date with, the release of Pandemic Pickup Delta variant, because this pandemic stuff is not going away, and you're going to need game. I think you need, in this day and age, you need game more than ever. Yeah, it's there's no doubt about it. This beer bug shit is definitely a cock blocker. It doesn't mean you can't get pussy, absolutely not, but it is a cock blocker. It has made things more difficult. It definitely has. So you really do need game. You need more game. You can online game, MLD for the online game, myself for the day game. You really need to be sourcing in this day and age. You need to be sourcing women. Like, if personally, I love day game. Luckily I'm in a spot where it's great to do it, but you might be living somewhere where you might actually need to do online game. And you really need to know how to do it properly, or you're going to get left behind. You really will, because it's really hard. It's a really hard marketplace, because it's just like women have just been liberated to the point where they're only going to choose the top tier guys. And if you don't know how to, portray yourself as a top tier guy, even though you might be a solid dude, you're going to get left behind. So if you don't want to get left behind and you want to improve your sex life, Pandemic Pickup Delta variant is absolutely going to fucking help you out. There's no doubt about it. Like, it 100% will. So yeah, definitely get on my email list. Go to my homepage, scroll down to the bottom, put in your best email, and you will be kept up to date about it. Ray Doku says, yeah, I signed up for Tinder last night after the shit weekend of day gaming. Fuck the UK. Depending on the spot, yeah. It's you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like dabbling, online day game, night game, social circle, have the whole thing going. Personally, I just like day game. It's just one of the things I enjoy doing. Online game can be good. I just get better results personally from day game. But online can be great too. But it's just more like, yeah. If I was right now trying to get a big notch count, like I already have, I already can have a satisfying sex life from day game, so I don't necessarily need online game. But if I was trying to just smash every single day, I would use online dating as well, because it does work. if you know how to do it properly. Michael T. Michael says, you'll have 90 versions of this course because the pandemic will never end. Well, I mean, if it helps guys get laid, who cares? Who cares how many versions there are? Because it's, it's just about teaching guys how to fucking get more pussy. Because, there's a lot of guys out there that, aren't getting laid, to be quite honest. Or even if they are getting laid, they're punching way down. They're not getting the girls they deserve. Because we're living in an age now where it's like, even if you're a solid guy, like even if you're like above average, even, it'd be hard for you to get laid. Like it'll be hard. That's why like game is so important. Understanding female nature, understanding the realities of female nature, understanding what they actually like, and understanding what it actually takes to get laid. That's why it's so important. Michael T. Michael says, is Japan wrapping up this vaccine? Do you mean, is Japan ramping up this vaccine bullshit? They're pushing it for sure. They're pushing it. I'm trying not to pay attention to it, but they're definitely pushing it. Yeah. I'm hoping it doesn't become an issue for my status here. But I don't, we'll come when we get to that, we'll get to that. But Michael says, what's your escape plan? I don't want to escape Japan. I mean, I want to stay here. So I have a few, we'll see. I really don't know. I don't know if it was a choice of whether to stay here or take the vaccine. I'm not taking. I'm just saying I'm not taking the vaccine. That's for sure. Like no, that's not going to happen. So it would be very unfortunate. But Reidoku says, always have an escape plan. Definitely not a bad idea to have an escape plan. But Japan, other than all the bullshit that's going on, Japan is still a very good place to be. It's definitely a good place to be. It's a good old time, but it's not perfect. But nowhere really is. Nowhere is perfect in this day and age, in this time. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up there. I was supposed to be doing a live stream tomorrow, 11 a.m. Japanese Standard Time. I think that's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I'm actually doing some filming for the pandemic pickup course, so I'm gonna miss that one. But I'll be back live streaming on the other days. Dorkhead says, have you noticed dating apps do you want to display you have the vaccinated status? I think I saw that before I deleted. That's been there for a while. I don't have any dating apps on my phone now, but that has been there for quite a while. In Japan anyway. And that is some serious bullshit. Yeah, it's really lame. I mean, in some countries in Ireland they were offering, free donuts with, they were offering some. I think you could get some advantages on your dating app if you were vaccinated, if you had proof of vaccine. It's some serious bullshit. Dorkhead says, with the chance of actually the vaccine spike affecting you, or if you are unvaccinated, do you dismiss dealing with girls who are jabbed? No, I don't dismiss them. I don't dismiss them. I just concentrate on being healthy myself, and just try and remain, keep my health in check, and You know, I don't like every girl is jabbed. Like every bitch is jabbed. You're not gonna like. Chicks are compliant. You're not gonna find you're gonna be looking for a needle in a haystack to find chicks that are not gonna comply with this shit, because chicks comply. They fucking comply with whatever they're told, you know, by whichever side they deem to be the winning side, and pretty much most chicks are gonna be jabbed. So now I've already smashed a bunch of chicks that have been jabbed, and I'm fine. So I don't know. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna cut it there. Got to do some shit. But thanks for joining. And once more, get on my email list. Go to my homepage. Scroll down to the bottom. Put in your email list and stay up to date with the pandemic. Get on the waiting list for the pandemic pickup Delta variant. It's gonna be a good course. So catch you on the flip side. Peace out. Bye bye.